If we could talk to the animals, learn all their languages, maybe take an animal degree. If I conferred with our furry friends, man to animal, think of the amazing repartee. If I could walk with the animals, talk with the animals, grunt and squeak and squawk with the animals, and they could talk to me.
Hello and welcome to Pet Watch. I'm Debbie Sims with the Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center. Today we're going to bring you a very special guest. Her name is Andrea Robinson, and with her we have a boxer mix named Grace Kelly. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us here.
Hi, Miss Grace. Grace is one of the stars this summer in our Summer of Stars adoption program at Animal Control. We've been selected as a finalist in the ASPCA Rachel Ray $100,000 challenge. Andrea is a good friend of our shelter, and she comes to us today with a very interesting story, and she's a bona fide celebrity in my mind. Andrea used to live in LA and work in the movies with animals.
Yes.
So you're a professional dog and animal trainer.
Yes.
And as I was reading about you, you went to a very unique college. Tell us about Moorpark College.
I went to a school called Moorpark College in California. It's the only school of its kind in the country. It's an exotic animal training and management program. So it's a 2-year program. So I have a degree in animal behavior and wildlife management from there. I graduated in 2003, and it's basically a small zoo that's run by the students and sort of supervised by the staff, and it's a heavy course load of classroom work, and then you have outdoor classroom too, where you're taking care of the animals and training them and learning how to be around them safely.
And in one day you might be exposed to a whole lot of different types of wildlife.
Yes, everything from dogs to monkeys and tigers and lions and all sorts of stuff.
Now, wolves are of special interest to you. And
yes.
Did you start your career with wolves, and how did that happen?
I started my career with wolves right out of the school. When I graduated, I found this guy that was raising a pack of wolves. They were 6 months old. So I worked with him for a few years and helped raise them and learned how to train them and work with them. And it was fantastic for learning how animals work and the pack mentality and all that stuff. It was really invaluable to my intro into dog training.
Yeah. Well, and dogs being ancient descendants of the wolf. Now, I noticed that you had a statement that I read about the wolf behavior in a wolf pack is sort of indicative of the behavior of a dog in a family. Now, how does that relate?
I feel like, when you have a dog in your house, in some ways they relate it to how they are as a pack, and being able to be around such a large pack and seeing how they interact with each other was really a window into how their minds work. And I don't believe that, they see you literally as a pack leader, but a lot of the mentality is there, and it just helps to be able to understand the dynamic of the dog in your family and how it relates to what you're trying to communicate with it to get an effective relationship with them.
Right, and I think a lot of people don't realize that there are many ways and different levels that your dog tries to communicate with you, and other ways that you can communicate back to them. Now, how does the immersing yourself with wolves and learning about their behavior, how does that turn into training animals for films or commercials, which is something that you'd ended up getting into after that?
The guy that had the wolves actually trained them for movies and television, so that was sort of my intro into that world, and I got exposure to a lot of other types of animals, and ended up working with everything from elephants to bears and lions and tigers and pelicans and all kinds of crazy stuff.
So are most animals that appear in movies, are they raised with humans?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most part. there are actual companies all over the country that have animals that they've raised from the time they were very small to be safe and to be exposed to a lot of stuff. And a lot like dog training, they have to be well socialized and good with people to be able to bring them onto a set and to be safe.
Right. So a wolf that's raised by humans with the intention of training that wolf, it has a whole different, obviously, a whole different way of life than a wild wolf would have.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, what movie was the first movie that you worked on?
The first big movie that I worked on was called Hotel for Dogs. And I was an assistant trainer to the woman that was training the bulldogs for that movie.
And what did you do for Twilight? I know that you were involved in that movie as well.
Yeah, it was a small piece of the first movie. It was the only one that they used real wolves in. And they had some flashback scenes with them running through the woods, and so we did that.
So they used computer-generated wolves in the other? Wow.
And it's really, it's affecting the whole industry. I mean, really, there's not much of an industry anymore with the exotic animals for film, because everybody's going to computer-generated stuff.
Really? Well, let's talk about one that you worked on that people in this area are quite interested in, which starred Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman, which was Dolphin Tale.
Yes.
And of course, Ashley's a real animal lover herself.
That's
she lives close by to Williamson County and is a big supporter of animal rights here. And what did you do on Dolphin Tale? That was a story of the dolphin, a true story about a dolphin who lost its tail or was born without a tail.
Lost its tail in a fishing net.
Okay. Now, what did you work on that movie? We watched that movie.
They used the actual dolphin.
The real one. Okay.
The real one from the story. The trainers were there, and they were working with him. And we trained the pelican for that, Rufus. So he had to chase Ashley Judd around and try and snap at her purse and chase her into the building and follow the kids around and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
So when you are working for an animal training company, you get approached by the producer of a movie or director or whatever, and they say, we're going to do this movie, and they give you the parameters. We need pelicans to do the following things. And so is that when your work begins, to train them for a specific task on camera?
Yeah, they give us the script, and it's our job to break it down and decide how it's going to work and how to train it and how much time we need to train it. We worked for probably 2 or 3 months before we filmed that movie to get them to where they could do everything. And there was 2. We had one and a backup. It's usually how it goes with dogs and with wild animals for film, just so they don't get too tired.
Yeah. Now, when you have appeared in, you worked in a True Blood, which is an HBO series.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And what animals were those?
The wolf
The
puppies.
wolf again? Okay, the
which
wolf
are
puppies. Okay.
Not maybe 100% wolf. Don't tell anyone.
There are a lot of hybrid. There are hybrid animals now that are a combination of wolf and dog.
Yeah.
And that's a new trend and an odd trend that can lead to down a lot of bad roads for people. Well, and you have some experience with both.
Yeah.
What do you think about those wolf hybrids for pets that?
You know, I've heard so many stories from so many people that have had fantastic hybrids and have never had a problem. I couldn't imagine having one as a pet, honestly. I mean, they dig and they jump and they need a lot, and you really, really have to know what you're doing.
And they're missing their pack, are they not? I mean, a lone wolf, so to speak, may not necessarily be a good thing genetically for that animal, right?
They will do better. She wants to come say hi.
Okay.
They will do better. They'll always do better outside and in a pack than in your home. They're just not built to live in a home, and some people can have problems with it for sure.
You mentioned elephants.
Yes.
Okay, tell me an elephant experience that you had.
I worked with elephants for over 10 years, both African and Asian elephants. It's not always easy. It's a lot of hard work. It is literally physically, emotionally, mentally the hardest thing that I have ever done, is to put that much time into learning how to work them. They're difficult animals to work and to read.
Come on, Miss Grace.
But they're fantastic, and once you build that bond, it's something that's just a one of a kind experience.
Well, and I assume that in California, where these companies are based, that they have large areas and farms that they keep these animals on.
They're actually, they don't live in California anymore. They've moved to, I think it's a 500-acre ranch.
The elephant specialist
they're
you're
now,
talking about.
Yeah, they're now in Oregon, but we had a 126-acre ranch.
Wow.
And we would, during the day, we would turn them out, and they actually created their own elephant path the way they would in the wild through the ranch. So we always knew they were somewhere along their own little trail.
Yeah.
And then we just go check on them. We're surrounded by mountains. There was nowhere for them to go. So it was kind of cool to be able to see them in their natural setting.
That's good to know that they're free, have their free time and their
free range elephants.
Free range elephants.
Yeah.
Only in Oregon, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Well, no, that was in California too.
Is animal training and training a dog in your home, are they similar in that one sets boundaries, or what is your basic philosophy for having a dog, create certain behaviors in a dog at home, like fetching or sitting, or what is your philosophy? Is it a reward method, or what do you?
When you're teaching them fun stuff, I think it's great to use food and to use rewards. But really, getting a good dog that's just happy and calm and respectful of the family is just a lot of conditioning, more than treat rewards. A lot of times with the treats, it gets them really excited, and that's not always where you want their state of mind to be.
Right. And Grace is a shelter dog. Let's talk a little bit about her. She's getting a little antsy here near the end of our segment. She is a 9-month-old mix, and she's mostly boxer, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. She is very sweet. We've taken her home and done a little temperament evaluation on her. She loves kids and loves little kids and strollers and stuff. She's sort of more of a man's dog, but she loves everybody just the same. She's good with cats. She is great walking on a leash. We're still working on chewing a little bit, so that's something to be aware of, but just a totally
And she's
sweet,
9 months
lovable
old,
dog.
so she's somewhat out of the chewing, but not all the way.
Yeah.
So she's available for adoption at Williamson County Animal Control, and we're fortunate that you have spent some time with her,
A little bit,
fostering her in your home, and she's learned a few things. She sits still for a few seconds anyway, but she's very curious about the surroundings and what's behind a door and what that noise was. Yeah, she's very curious. If anybody's interested in Grace, I'd encourage them to come by Williamson County Animal Control Adoption Center in Franklin and meet Grace. She is a 9-month-old boxer, and right now there are no fees for adoptions with approved applications. She might need a little room to play, and she loves to lick your face. So if you don't want that, don't come here, Grace. Let's have people have one more look at you. Yeah, this is Sweet Grace, one of our dogs available at Williamson County Animal Control. We'll be back in a minute to finish our conversation with Andrea and talk about a new project she's undertaken here in Williamson County called Fetching Freedom.
Returning to this year's Williamson County Fair is the Grand Ole Country Night, August 7th. Enjoy this fun performance featuring Nadine from Larry's Country Diner, Jim Ed Brown, Helen Cornelius, and Whispering Bill Anderson. Other events include pageants, 4-H events, culinary and creative arts, and the annual Sing Your Heart Out competition. Savannah Lynn, a young, new, upcoming artist from Hawaii, will be performing on our main stage August 9th. She received the 2013 Best Country Teen Artist Award presented by the Indie Music Channel. The Williamson County Fair features an air-conditioned building packed full of vendors, booths, food, and entertainment. Make sure you come out and experience all the fun. The fair is a great family environment, and there's something for everyone. Back again for our 10th anniversary is everyone's favorite. 2 Elvis Presley Tribute Artist Contest winners, Sean Clush and Cody Ray Slaughter. You will be treated to 2 performances with a first-class tribute to the king of rock and roll. Go to the Williamson County Fair website and print one of these coupons to get a free ticket Monday through Friday. Tickets for adults are $6, tickets for children ages 6 through 12 are $3, and anyone under the age of 6 gets in for free. Come on out to the Williamson County Fair August 1st through the 9th to experience all the fun.
Hello and welcome back to Pet Watch. My guest is Andrea Robinson, and we've been talking a little bit about her career with animal training and dog training. And we had the beautiful boxer named Grace, who is available for adoption. And Grace has taken a rest this segment. And I want to talk to Andrea about a couple of other projects. When you moved from California to Tennessee, was it last year or?
It was just this last Christmas.
Okay, last Christmas. So welcome to Williamson County. We're glad to have you.
Thanks.
Andrea does dog training. And you do that, that's one of your projects, is dogtrainingbyandrea.com.
Yes.
Okay. And what are some of the services you offer?
I do everything from, getting your dog to walk well on a leash to some more complex behavioral issues, and also studio work out here, movie work here as well with dogs. If you're interested in getting your dog into film work, or if you have a project that you want dogs in, you can definitely call.
And music videos, a lot of them are filmed here in Williamson County.
Absolutely.
And you've worked on a few of those with several artists, like I know Steven Tyler was one. And,
yes.
What were the other groups you'd worked with?
Evanescence, Kesha, and some other smaller musician
people love animals,
bands.
and people love to see them, and they just bring joy to everything that they do, I think.
Yeah,
Don't you?
absolutely.
I mean, they just bring joy to people's lives, and they're such a part of our lives that's why every movie, television show, video that you see, there isn't usually an animal in there.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, you even do intensive training where you will bring someone's dog to your house.
Yes.
And work with them to refine certain behaviors or work on
severe behavioral issues, if they're, bitey or out of control, and,
chewing up the furniture while you're at work. Okay.
They're eating your house. You can bring them to me and I will fix them and give them back to you.
So there's a reason for that behavior, and often the owner is just frustrated and not knowledgeable. So it's good.
These little issues can snowball into big issues, and just by doing a few minor changes but consistently, you can change the dog's state of mind and get it to be calm and respectful. And if a dog is calm and respectful, it's not thinking about destroying your house or being, crazy and jumping all over everybody.
So you kind of reprogram the dog's brain for the behavior, and then when the homeowner comes to get the dog to resume their life with it, you teach them how to respond.
A huge part of it is, I've always said that dog training doesn't work if the dog trainer is the only one training the dog.
Yeah.
So, a big part of what we do as dog trainers is teaching the owners how to be dog trainers too. They have to learn how to read the subtle signs of their dog and what to do to correct a problem before it turns into a big problem again. So.
Right. And sometimes it's obvious once someone points it out to an amateur like me. Once you point something out to me, I see it. But if I don't have the knowledge you do to know that the ears go that way, it means one thing. And if the ears go this way, or they're jumping up, or we're cowering down, it always means something. And
well, it does. And dogs don't need the same things from us that other humans do. If a dog is scared, as human beings, we want to comfort each other and be like, no, it's okay. Trust me, it's fine. It'll be okay.
Right.
But for dogs, when we do that with them, it can make them a lot worse. And in their mind, they're thinking, oh my gosh, she's nervous too. I need to stay nervous.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So things like that, it's not always the same. So
you could project that your tenseness onto the animal.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And same thing with children sometimes. Yeah.
Yes.
It's all about how you react.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, one of the new projects you started here in Williamson County is an organization called Fetching Freedom.
Yes.
And tell us about that organization. What's the purpose of it?
I met my co-founder, Melissa, here, and we've decided together that we wanted to start this 501c3 nonprofit to rescue and train dogs to be service dogs for men and women suffering from psychological-based disabilities like PTSD or traumatic brain injury. we found that there are a lot of veterans, especially, that are coming back and having trouble sort of, finding their way in this new life, coming back post-trauma, and the astounding effects that dogs have had on them. And we figured that between our collective backgrounds in dog training and our experiences, that we would do well putting together something like this here. So we got a great program in place. We're just barely getting it started. You can find out more information, like you said, on our website.
Is that fetchingfreedom.com?
Yep.
Okay.
Fetching
now,
Freedom.
post-traumatic stress disorder, we most often hear that associated with war veterans, but it can be anyone who experiences a physical trauma.
Anyone that has either witnessed or been in a position where they felt like it was, they could potentially not make it through it, or, extreme trauma. And it doesn't even necessarily happen to everybody that has been through a traumatic experience. But basically what happens is when you are fearful for your life, your subconscious brain sort of takes a snapshot of everything that's happening right at that moment and then saves it so that you don't end up in that situation again. It's a very primal, sort of subconscious thing that happens. So later, when you're then safe and no longer in a life or death situation, if you hear or see or even smell something that was within the realm of that sort of snapshot, your brain immediately goes into life-saving sort of panic mode. So if you had something terrible happen and there was popcorn cooking in the back, just the smell of popcorn later could subconsciously, out of the person's control, bring them back into that sort of survival mode state. And it's really hard for people to exist with that level of anxiety and triggers everywhere, and it would really it's your body trying to survive, but you can't just shut it off, and you can't just tell yourself, oh, I'm fine now. So
and you withdraw because you're afraid that trigger could be outside of your protective shell.
With the dogs, it does something with people subconsciously where they have something else to look to and to trust, and to be able to read the dog that no matter what happens, they're going to protect them, and they can help them and wake them up from nightmares and get medication for them and be a block between themselves and the public, which can be very stressful for a lot of people to be out in public in big crowds with sort of unpredictable environments. So.
Right. And dogs, they just have a natural instinct for this, for the peace and the inner.
Dogs naturally are very healing, and we also want to implement a therapy program just to show the effects of that dogs can have. But for service work specifically, it is very, very difficult to find the right temperament and the right personality, because the people have a lot of anxiety, and it can the dogs carry a lot of that. So you have to find a very specific type of dog, and it's the hardest part about our mission, especially in rescue, because the dogs are coming from their own trauma and their own backgrounds, sometimes, not always. So we are temperament testing them for at least a month, if not more, to start testing them for all these different specifications we have, and then it's probably going to be very low number. I mean, we've already seen that it's been kind of a high washout rate, low numbers of dogs that do it, but we want to make sure that these dogs do not let down our soldiers, and that they're the perfect match for what we're trying to do. And it's more important to us to do that and take our time than to try and rush through anything.
Now, if a person has been diagnosed with PTSD and they're interested in your program, what is the process they would go through?
They would need to go to our website. Our only requirement is that they are being supervised or overseen by a psychiatrist, psychologist, or a medical doctor that's overseeing their PTSD. So they fill out an application, and we process it, and we need to touch base with their doctors at some point and then go from there.
Now, you can't take a person's family dog and make it into a service dog, can you?
We are willing to evaluate them for sure, because it is easier if they already have a connection and it's already established in the family. But most of the time it doesn't work. But we're willing to look at it.
Well, your
always
first
and
few
try it.
clients, it'll be a learning process for both of you, in that they need a pet because they have the PTSD and they want to get better, and then you're helping select the pet. So it's a group effort to find the right pet and the right dog at the same time.
There's a big portion in our application that sort of gets into what kind of dog they want for their family, and because they need to be able to bond with it. If it's something they're like, oh, I don't want to bring that dog with me anywhere, it doesn't work. So.
And then you would actually train the dog to do the things that person might need.
Yes, there's a whole array of tasks that they can do that are disability. I mean, by law, service dogs need to be able to perform tasks very specific to a person's disability. So we're training those things, like I said, like blocking for the public, or if they're having a panic attack somewhere, training the dog to find the nearest exit, get them out of the building, give them an excuse. You know, they sort of do a bother thing, so they're like, oh, I got to take my dog out. Sorry, guys. And they're like, oh, okay, I got out of there.
Yeah, it's amazing. On your website, fetchingfreedom.com, people can see this amazing list, and like you said, bring medication to someone, or recognize the fact that they're anxious, and the dogs just seem to have a wonderful instinct. And we wish you great success with it. And I know there are people in this area that are interested in learning more about Fetching Freedom, and I hope they'll go to your website and do that.
Thank you. The other interesting thing too that I was amazed at is how close teaching these tasks are to a lot of the training that we had to do for movie work with the dogs in California.
Sure.
It's sort of working under strange conditions to do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's
right.
I feel like it's a good fit for me.
Yeah,
so.
and that's a task oriented.
Yeah, very much so.
The desire of if you can train it to chase Ashley Judd around at a certain speed, then you can train it to look for an exit. So
we don't do service pelicans. So.
No service pelicans. No. Okay. Well, that's so interesting, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Again, go to fetchingfreedom.com for information about that organization, or if you have a dog that needs special training, training by Andrea.com. She's located right here in Williamson County. We, as I mentioned at the top of the show, are still in the ASPCA Rachel Ray $100,000 challenge. We're in our final month, August, and we're having many events this month made possible by our sponsors. And I'd like to mention that since all the adoptions have been at no fee to our adopters, they've been paid for by our sponsors, and they include Nashville Paw Magazine, the Animal Ark Animal Hospital, Rachel's Ribbons, the Cool Springs Animal Hospital, Franklin Synergy Bank, J.R. Root, a horse behaviorist, First Tennessee Bank, Cause a Scene, Little House Animal Hospital, Borderland Diabetic Alert Dogs, Friends Forever, Holistic Pet, and Regency Office Products. We'd like to thank all of them for making these no-fee adoptions possible. In August, on Saturday, August 2nd, we'll be at Mill Creek Animal Hospital in Nolensville. Then on August 3rd, you can eat at Logan's in Cool Springs, Spring Hill, Murfreesboro, or 100 Oaks to benefit us. That's hosted by Franklin Brentwood Arts Academy. Then August 9th at Cool Springs Animal Hospital, August 16th at the Brentwood Library. Again on Monday, August 18th, eat at Logan's, Cool Springs, or Spring Hill. And then on Saturday, August 30th, please come to our ASPCA Challenge celebration party at the shelter. We're located at 106 Claude Yates Drive, just north of Franklin High School, behind the Columbia State campus. We're open Monday through Friday for intake from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., but the Adoption Center opens Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. and stays open until 6. On Saturday, we have new extended hours, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have a free spay-neuter program for the public that you might qualify for, so call 790-5590, and please have your pet spayed or neutered. Like us on Facebook. That's a great way to keep up with us. We're listed as Williamson County Animal Shelter. And our website is adoptwcac.org. I thank you for watching Pet Watch, and I thank Andrea for being our guest. I hope you learned a lot today, and please join us again next month.
If we could talk to the animals, learn all their languages, maybe take an animal degree. If I conferred with our furry friends, man to animal, think of the amazing repartee. If I could walk with the animals, talk with